Billionaire Tom Steyer, he surged to third place in a morning consult poll of the early primary and caucus states. And then Team Bloomberg had some straight weird tweets last night.
It was pretty odd. Yeah. We're back with Eduardo Rodriguez, principal at the Raven Group, and Philip Wegman, political reporter for Real Clear Politics. Let's start with the weird. What Bloomberg tweets do we have that we can put up?
I think we have
People actually thought that his account had been hacked because it was so weird. So they started with this, here's some interesting facts, here's where he was born. They even put up things like he can hold 9 batteries in his mouth. I mean, just
9
really.
batteries and a Photoshop picture of his face on a meatball. Still,
I missed that one.
Yeah, it was very strange. I mean, this guy is.
That question goes to me.
This guy has 100. He has 1,000 campaign staffers. Yeah. He's paying field organizers $6,000 a month. I'm sure he has. Apparently, his team was like, the Team Bloomberg social media is going to have a lot of fun tonight. Is this just how stupid these consultants?
Corporate. You know how these brands will put out their weird tweets to try to get a thing going? That's
Bloomberg
totally
campaign,
what he's doing here.
It's not Wendy's. You're not the Wendy's things, right?
Wendy's,
what is going on here? I don't
understand.
know what's going on. No, I mean, I think that perhaps the playbook for me would have been respond to the debate questions.
Yeah.
Insert yourself.
You wouldn't have gone the number of batteries in the mouth.
I wouldn't have gone to batteries in the mouth.
Yeah.
Perhaps, how many. And the factoids obviously were sarcastic, but they wanted to try to insert themselves and perhaps demonstrate that in addition to all of the amazing commercials about how great he was for New York, that he also has a sense of humor. He's the likable guy. Perhaps it's the have a beer with Bloomberg, profile that they're trying to build. I don't know, but clearly not something that was effective. And I mean, it may be effective in the sense that people are laughing and talking about it.
It really was like some weird corporate branding exercise of let's show Mike has a fun side. I know, let's do it. It just shows how weird and out of touch this whole thing is.
Yeah, Mike has a fun side. He can hire a bunch of millennials to come up with weird tweets. I was starting to wonder, did he poach the kids from the Gravel campaign?
Yeah. Oh, that would be cool.
They would have done a good job.
Those
that would have been a good one.
teams are very legit.
But I like it. Even with the 90 batteries, they were like, no, this is too far, and they deleted it afterwards. What was their point? This is the best you can do with all of your billions of dollars.
That's what I was going to really want to get to, which is that so Bloomberg has said he's going to spend $2 billion to get the Democratic nominee elected. I think he has spent about 150, maybe 200 million on ads so far. Does this kind of show the futility of that, Phil? Which is that when you start pumping this amount of money, people are just going to start grifting and do stupid things. They're going to deliver bad products. In other words, what is the ceiling on money? Right? What do you think that is in terms of competency and ability to affect the race?
Well, if you compare Mike Bloomberg and Bernie Sanders, for instance, Bernie Sanders doesn't have as much money, but he has a lot more grassroots support. It's real, and it doesn't require a stupid meme. I think that is what we're going to run into later on. You can't sort of get a grassroots movement by putting your face on a meatball.
Yeah. At the same time, let's throw up the morning consult Democratic primary preference. This is nationally. We've got Bloomberg now at 8%, tied with Pete Buttigieg nationally. There's that one. At the same time, fellow billionaire Tom Steyer in the early primary states morning consult, and this blows my mind, 15%. Yep. Beating Elizabeth Warren and Pete and nipping at Bernie Sanders' heels. So, look, money may not be able to win you the nomination, but that 15% is coming out of someone and really impacting the race.
Well, I think that with the billions comes ego. We saw it on the right. Donald Trump ran. Do I think Donald Trump really believed he was able to win? I don't think so. I don't think he thought he was really going to win, but he had the money to throw away and a base. These other Democratic billionaires didn't have a TV show, don't have a base like Donald Trump did, but he won. And I think to a certain extent, you're going to have the billionaires on the left who have the same mentality. Perhaps I didn't have a TV show, but if I spend enough money, there might be an opportunity for me to win. And that's what we're seeing. The money pays off in terms of visibility and branding and popularity, but at some point, especially in this change election, as you said before, against Donald Trump, I don't think.
Steyer is what I'm really trying to understand here. The appeal. I mean, Phil, have you kind of looked into this? I mean, what is it about? I know it's the hundreds of millions of dollars on the ads, blanketing YouTube, billboards, all these other things in the swing states in order to get him there. I think his debate performance last night really helped him because any time that you can be up on that stage, it makes you look more legit, which just makes you fuel even more support. But I guess I just don't understand the appeal. Is it just that he's not Bernie and Biden and that he's just the most familiar face? What do you think?
Well, his biggest accomplishment last night was keeping other candidates off of the stage.
Yes.
He was taking up a spot that could have gone to, more unconventional, but other candidates like Andrew Yang or Tulsi Gabbard who do have appeal with large constituencies.
Yeah.
I think that, Steyer is very interesting. He's had this upshot in the Morning Consult poll that you just mentioned. We haven't seen that in the aggregate at Real Clear Politics. But, the delicious irony here is that this is Tom Steyer, who made many of his billions by investing in oil and gas companies, and now he's lecturing
private prisons.
He's lecturing the rest of us on global warming. We'll see whether or not that actually moves the needle or helps him win a nomination. But for now, I think that this is perhaps good money.
That is the weirdness.
Yeah.
That is the weirdness with Steyer. Is he says he's a climate change candidate. He's the only candidate who's putting climate change first, which number one is not even true, and number two, he's, as Philip points out, he's got like a dicey track record on this thing. But I have to be fair. I thought he was pretty good last night. I thought he's gotten better in all of these debates. I thought he had some good turns of phrase, some clear answers, and I thought he came off as less kind of pre-packaged and focus group tested than like Pete, for example. So it was the first time where I watched that and went, oh, I kind of get it.
No.
You also have this whole mythology in this country around like the rich people and how they're, better than us and how they're the natural leaders and that's who we should look to. And there must be some streak in the Democratic Party too that's like, oh, we need our own businessman to go up against Trump. Last night with Tom was the first time where I could kind of see where this 15% is coming from.
So it's basically, the left is against the 1% and the billionaires unless it's our billionaire
That's right.
against your billionaire.
Right. I think that's true.
I think Philip's got a point, though. He took a spot from voices that are essential to today's political arena. So Julian Castro wasn't there, Booker wasn't there, and when we look back at the earlier debates, they were among the few that brought up issues that weren't front and center in some of these debates. You have Puerto Rico as a perfect example. Hurricane Maria, another hurricane, 3 earthquakes so far, natural disaster on top of an economic crisis.
Right.
And the United States and this administration is still not getting the resources down there. I mean, that diaspora on the mainland is an influential vote in Florida, Pennsylvania, and wherever many of the Puerto Ricans had to flee to the mainland. They're going to be a change for those states that right now are surpassing the million mark.
The funny thing is, they're all supporting Rick Scott because he's doing a great job.
Rick Scott went to Puerto Rico 15 times right before the election, as opposed to the Democratic candidate. So
that's a great point.
You're missing out now because of the Tom Steyer effect, and eventually Bloomberg, who will find a way to insert himself even further. You're not hearing from voices that are raising some of these issues that need to be talked about.
There was a lot less ideological diversity on that stage last night without the voices that both of you mentioned, Yang and Gabbard, who have very different and unique perspectives. I thought Julian also raised some good issues. Bloomberg claims he's going to spend $2 billion to beat Trump, no matter who the nominee is. Do we really buy that? Is he really going to is he going to really back Bernie Sanders for president? I find it a little hard to believe.
Yeah. If he hates Donald Trump that much, then maybe
he has more money than me. I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know about this.
I think he's committed that Donald Trump is a danger to the future of the country.
Well, he's a danger to Bloomberg's bottom line and his business with China. But we can end it there.
It's a win-win.
All right, yeah.
It's a win-win.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Tomorrow on Rising, how is Obama World handling a Bernie Sanders surge? Daily Beast reporter Hannah Trudeau, she's going to explain that also.
She's got some great reporting there. Plus, Hill reporter Rafael Bernal will be here to discuss the significance of the Nevada primary in the 2020 race. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for joining us last night. We had record viewership. It was a lot of fun. I was very feisty.
Yeah,
I always appreciate you all. Have a great day.
See you guys.